everybody. Happy Monday and surprise, I'm going live. I'm actually going to be showing you my February card class, Hooray for Surprises, and super excited. So let me rotate this down and we're gonna have some fun. I think I've got us here. That's great. All right, and I'm going to see if I can see our comments. Good, so I can see, good, I can see comments now, which is awesome. And so this will be great. Okay, that is very crooked. Let's just fix that, sorry. It's probably time to buy a new mount. All right, so we are going to play with the stamp set. Hooray for surprises. And we're also going to play with the dies. And I've got a few of them pulled out here, but I've been playing with a bunch of them. There's some smaller dies in here. There's some small flowers, some leaves. This one is kind of like a fun little branch piece. So a few of these coordinate directly with stamped images, and then some of them are the interactive pop-up die pieces. So that is fun. And then for folks that got the packet, they also got a pack of these sparkle gems, the tinsel gems, which are really pretty. This is my pack that came messed up, but it's okay. No one else got one that bad. And then they also got a pack, a partial pack of this eclectic paper. So I'm going to pull out a few sheets that we're going to need today. So if you got this packet and you're crafting along with us, there are a few sheets you're going to need. And I also need this one. All right, great. So you're gonna need the bubble bath striped piece. The inverse is the flowers. You're gonna need the letter pieces, and the inverse is the hearts. You're gonna need the daisy piece, and then a piece of this with the large purple flowers, the fresh freesia in the back of that. I don't need both of those though. And then a piece of the striped that has the pretzels on the back of it. I do like the stripes this way because when we stamp on it, we can actually read the lettering. So I was being, with a few of these, the orientation of the paper really does matter. So, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna work on each of these cards. And what is cool about the cards is that the, they're super interactive. I love that they can open and stuff, but then once you do it, it's kind of done, right? So once I pull this open, when I pull this off, then it's off. So this is what the card would look like in the mail. And this is gonna be in your packet. So we've got the card base. Not sure. Okay, card base, and then we have a piece of the Calypso coral, and then we're gonna cut the same size piece of the striped paper. So when we lift this piece out, then you'll see that it says make a wish, right? So, and I wanted the make a wish to be visible, and we could see it on here on the lighter colors. So I might kind of rotate my paper and make sure it fits. So I'm gonna grab my paper trimmer real quick, and I'm gonna cut my piece of DSP. So this is a standard front layer, so it's gonna be 4 by 5 1/4. So we're gonna cut our piece of DSP to 4 by 5 1/4. to stamp the ink colors for this class. I tried to stay pretty much within the realm of the paper. So we have Night of Navy, we have Crush Curry, and then some of the pinks and purples, Gorgeous Grape, Fresh Freesia, Bubble Bath. You could use Highland Heather if you had it. Like, you know, if you just want to use black, you can do that too. And then we're going to take this piece, we're going to make sure that these two line up well and we don't see any of that outside. So if we do, I'm going to come back with my trimmer and I'm just going to trim just a small little sliver off the side so that we don't see it peeking out, because we want this to be a surprise, and it won't be a surprise if they see DSP peeking out the side. So, all right, and then we're going to take the heart die and we're going to go ahead and die cut this. And when we die cut it, we can hold it up to the light and we should be able to, you know, kind of aim for stamping our sentiment here. So I'm going to die cut it and then I'm going to put the DSP in front of it, and the die cut should have enough light through it that I'll be able to see where I'm supposed to stamp. If you want to get a pencil out to mark the edges, you can do that too. I did have a pencil on my desk the other day when I was doing this. So let me run this die through real quick. So there's our piece and it's die cut. And so then once we hold this in front of it, and I kind of hold it up to the light in my office, I can see that. I can also kind of like look at it and I can say, okay, you know, here's that piece. Should probably be able to feel it as well, right? The gaps aren't big enough for me to draw in it, but I can kind of feel that. Okay, so that's where the boundaries are for me to stamp my sentiment. So I need to stamp a few things. I need to stamp the Make-A-Wish. I need to stamp the candle. I need to stamp Hoping Your Birthday is Wonderful. I need to stamp Open Here. And I need to stamp the cake. Okay. So, let's do Make-A-Wish first. And we're just going to use the Night of Navy for this. So I'm going to pull this piece up and over here. Be gentle with the pieces that are die cut because they are small tabs kind of making the whole thing hold on. So just be gentle with it. Nice. All right, so there's our Make-A-Wish. We're gonna stamp the Hope Your Birthday is Wonderful. So that's it for stamping on there. Hope Your Birthday is Wonderful. We can stamp that on the card front. Then we're also gonna stamp the little piece of the little candle. And if we're going to kind of hang the cake over the edge, then like right about there. Oh, I didn't get the whole candle. Let's see if I can fix it. Not bad, not bad. All right. And then we have a sample piece. Here's a little scrap that we can stamp that. And then we also need to stamp the open here. So in my sample card, you can see I kind of stamped it on a curve. So I just put it on my acrylic base and kind of curved it and stuck it down and looked to see if that was enough. And if it wasn't enough, then I said, okay, you know, let's get this curve, you know, and kind of manipulated it to do what I wanted it to do and get it to stamp where I wanted to stamp. Sometimes when the sentiments are a little bit longer, it's a little bit easier to do this, but any kind of photopolymer stamp you can do this with. Hopefully I can do it with you guys on camera. We'll find out. Oh, it needs to be curved some more. Stay. No, don't bend. Stay. And if I can't, we'll stamp it straight, but, oh, peeled off again. All right, we're just gonna stamp it straight. No big deal. So, no worries. All right, so that's it for the Night of Navy. And then I'm gonna come back. I don't think you're gonna be able to see these marks, these pencil marks on my sample, like once it's all put together, but just in case, I'm gonna go ahead and erase that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and glue these two pieces together. So I can just put this on the edge. The reason I like the wet glue is it gives me a couple of seconds to kind of readjust and just make sure that, you know, I've got the piece where I want it. While that dries, then I'm going to stamp our little cake in crushed curry. And then I put a couple of the, they're not Night of Navy. I think they're the Midnight, the Misty Moonlight gems on this one because I thought they were fun. If you don't have the dies for this set, this is not probably a possible class. Like the dies are what really make this class possible. I mean, cutting the cake out, that's easy. There is a die for it. But the, you know, having these dies that kind of cut away and leave these tabbed notches, you know, that's what makes this die set so special. And then if you did get this class in the mail from me, just hold on to this piece of scrap because we're going to use it probably in on another card. We've got a few little pieces we're going to cut out. All right, so then I'm going to top this up with some dimensionals. And I want to make sure I'm going to put a dimensional. I don't want to glue the whole thing down. If I glue both sides, then I've glued it to its piece. So I'm only putting dimensionals on the piece that's on the heart, right? Because I don't want to glue it on this side and then glue the whole thing together. And then we have the we have a white card base. With this one, I just did it flat, but I think it looks a little flat. And so I'm going to get my snips in here. I'm going to cut some edges. So I'm actually going to pop the whole thing up on dimensionals because I think that it'll make the card look a little more impressive. So I'm going to put dimensional pieces on the back here. Nice, and then we're gonna add some of our Misty Moonlight jewels to kind of jazz it up. And I'll do like 1, 2, 3. fun. All right, so there's card number 1. There we go, easy peasy. All right, so when you look at the dies at first, you're like, oh, these are very complicated, and I don't know, how to make them. But as you start to play with them, they do get easier and easier. So the next one we're gonna do is similar, but kind of the inverse. So this is a petal pink card base. And there's a little scrap here, and we're going to stamp that open here on there. And we're going to stamp it in, you could do Misty Moonlight or black or Night and Navy or, whatever you've got. But I'm going to go ahead and just stamp that and get that out of the way. All right, and then we have a piece of crushed curry that's cut to size. And we're going to cut a piece of the designer series paper that's cut to size 2. And then we're going to take the circle die, the bigger one, and we're going to layer it, and then we're going to cut out one of the daisies, and we're going to stamp behind it. So you have to kind of figure out, like, where on the DSP you can get a nice, clean, full daisy. Like, do you want it up here? Do you want it, like this one's kind of, pretty centrally located. I could kind of go over a little bit. I don't think it's worth it to do that. And that feels really low. That one's not full. That one's really close to the edge. So I think I'm going to use this panel. So again, 4 by 5 1/4, and you should be able to get 3 panels out of your piece of DSP that you got. So you have plenty of DSP to play with. And then again, we don't want to see any of the yellow behind here. In this case, it's actually really hard to see it. So like I don't see any yellow, so I don't feel like I have to trim anything. We are going to take our piece and go die cut it. And with this being DSP, we're going to be even more gentle with that. And we are going to want to stamp behind it. So again, you can try to kind of hold this up to the light. The other option is to just kind of what I was doing before, which is I kind of like lift it aside and, marked an edge. Marked an edge. You can see it's already kind of popping out there. Marked an edge. Marked an edge. Okay. So then that looks good enough, right? So now we kind of know the boundaries that we're going to stamp our piece in. And so this one, when it pops up, and I kind of got it to dangle on there. So it says, hooray, can't wait to see you. Love that. So we're going to get our sentiment. Let's see. And I'm also going to grab the little heart stamp as well. So we're going to stamp the sentiment and the Night and Navy. I just want to make sure I've got it lined up the right side. I guess the flowers can go either way. All right, so we're going to put that in the middle. And then if you have Bubble Bath or Petal Pink or some kind of soft pink, and then you can do some stamping Or actually, that might be crushed curry. That is, it's crushed curry. I did tone on tone. See, I remember sometimes. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna stamp a few. There we go. A few little hearts on there. It's just a nice little touch on the inside. And then we're going to get our DSP. I'm going to erase my pencil marks again, just in case we can see them. You know, one year for the 12 Days of Christmas, I gave a pencil in the pack, and everyone was like, that's a weird gift to give. And I'm like, oh, pencils are important. Like, they can help you sketch stuff out and help you make lines and know where you're supposed to put stuff. And if you like the inverse of this piece, which is the super cute lemons, you could use that side too. They're both really cute. All right, so I just want to make sure, again, I'm using the wet glue just to make sure that I don't mess anything up. And then I'm going to put my open here kind of down on the bottom. I could put it like on the middle here, but I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to use some little mini dimensionals. And then I did pop this whole panel again up with dimensionals. So I'll just cut some more side pieces here. All right. And this one I trimmed a little bit tighter, and I could trim this one closer if I wanted to. I don't know, I had a dimensional behind there, but you know, if I wanted this to be a little bit tighter of a piece, I could. I don't think it's necessary. I do think I've got that dimensional now too close to the edge. All right, starting. There we go. Awesome. Open here. And then I did not put any embellishments on this one because I thought that none of them went. You know, if you wanted to put one by the open here, you could. But I felt like this one looked pretty cute by itself and didn't really need anything else. All right, excellent. So now let's make, so in this class normally we make 4 cards in a monthly class, but this month we're actually making 5 because I did an extra one and I liked both of them and I couldn't pick a winner. So, all right. So we're gonna do the purple one, and this one's neat because it's stair stepped. So you've got this piece here, and so I kind of show you from the top so you can see how that one goes together. So this is a full panel, like a full card panel, and then an extra panel in front. So you have a piece of fresh freesia, and you're going to kind of score this down, and this is going to become your front panel. So we're going to get our bone folder in here. I'm going to make sure that that lays nice and flat. And that lays nice and flat. And then you've got the heart, and you've got some fun white flowers that I thought kind of mimicked that, those flowers in there. So I'm going to grab that piece of DSP and our trimmer. And we need a piece that's 3 3/4. And I think it's 3 3/4 by 5, yeah. So this one will be 5, and then the next panel, the smaller one is 2, yeah. Because that'll give us our little small panel. Excellent. All right. 2 pieces for here. So then this card goes together pretty quickly. This one is just showing you how to use the dies without all the surprise part. So there's some fun other dies in the set, just a regular heart. There's also a heart that has little like polka dots or little pieces in it. That's really cute. And there's some greenery and some other things too. So I might have to get some new glue. All right, so this panel goes on your card front. So just get your card front and glue it down in the middle. Hopefully you have a second because you've used wet glue to adjust. Don't do like I do. All right, great. And then we're going to put this panel on the inside. So kind of fold that down and I really like this card. One of the things that's interesting about it, I got it as like it was a case, right? So I got a sample from somebody. It was a totally different paper and pattern and stamps that they used. But it was really strange to me that the 2 panels didn't measure up. They didn't add up at the top. And I tried it and it doesn't sit right if you do. So I don't know why, but it has to be like this, where this panel is a little bit shorter. And then these 2 panels are, this is equivalent to this fold part here and here. So just FYI, if you're looking at it later and wondering, that is why. So I do sell the PDFs for my classes. So if that's something that you're like, I don't want to buy the product because I'm a demonstrator, or I don't need the product, or whatever, something similar, you're always welcome to buy. Oh, that was definitely 2 1/4, by the way, not 2. Excellent, good to know. We'll make it work for sure. All right, and we're going to use Gorgeous Grape for this sentiment because it's big and it's pretty. Sending you lots of love. All right. So I do sell my PDFs. So when my class becomes available each month, then there's an opportunity to purchase the PDF of the class if you don't want to purchase the class packet itself. And then I always offer the opportunity to add on the stamps or the dies. And no shipping added onto that. So, all right, so sending you lots of love. So we're gonna put one of the little pieces here, and I'm just gonna use a little bit of glue. I really don't want to have to go get glue out of my big cubby of glue. But I might have to. Okay. Okay. I have, some of you will laugh, I have old 2-way glue. This is literally like the oldest glue pen on the planet. Oh, and that just made a big mess, but that's fine. All right. We'll clean it up, right? This is like the oldest glue ever. All right. So I'm gonna put one here. George, hey, don't eat my books. The dog is in the office and he is messing around with my stuff. Everybody else can still see me. It's spinning on my screen, but no worries. All right, so let's clean up the mess we made. I don't need adhesive on my work surface here. My beautiful glass mat. All right, so we have made 3 cards so far with the Hooray for Surprises. And now we're going to make the the last two. So the last two are similar in nature. They use the zipper pull that's in the dies. So this one, which is an interesting die, because it doesn't actually zip open the entire card. So you have a choice with these next two as to kind of how you structure it and how you use this die. All right, so let's take a look at this one. I'm going to kind of put it back together. So this card, super cute. It has the letters, which I've wanted to use this sheet of paper for a long, long time. Just hadn't found a cute way to use it. So this one, we're actually die cutting another zipper pull and putting it on top, so that when you pull it open, then here's what you get on the inside. So I'm going to show you how that works. So this one, we've got some cute little flowers that come in the die set. And then we've got a piece of Pretty Peacock that we're using as our back piece. And then we've got a piece of white that we're using for our inside panel piece, okay? And then we're gonna get a piece of the cardstock and we're going, or the DSP, and we're gonna trim it to kind of wrap, to create a wrap that goes around the DSP. So that wrap, and I don't wanna mess up the measurements, so I'm gonna make sure to look at my piece. Okay, it's 5 by 7. So let's get arm out. The reason I'm cutting this panel off is because I don't want to show that thick top there. So I just want it to be letters to letters. And then we're going to score it at 1 7/8 and 5 5/8. So 5 5/8 is here. So we're going to score it. And it's DSP, so don't score too heavy. And then 1 7/8. So 1 7/8. So I'm going to score here. And if we scored well, hopefully, then it should just wrap around this piece of cardstock. Now, at this moment it's not, because I need to trim down the cardstock a little bit. So I'm going to just trim a little bit off. The cardstock piece is 3 3/4, and I'm just going to come in and I'm going to trim a little bit off, and then we'll kind of hold it and see. Okay, perfect. Now we got it. All right, so we're going to do the zipper pull, the zipper die on the front of here. And then we're going to glue the whole thing together. Just don't forget to build the inside of your piece, like stamp all your pieces before you do this. So we're going to use bubble bath, and we're going to stamp the big heart in the middle. And then bubble bath is one of those ones with photopolymer. I kind of let it rest there for a minute so that all the ink will transfer, over. And then sending you lots of love. I think I'm actually going to add an ink color here, and I'm going to add some Pretty Peacock. And then you can't add a lot of bulk inside of here because you're closing the card up, but you can add like one little, piece of this. So I'm just going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to add this on the inside. All right, so then I'm gonna come and I'm gonna take the zipper die and I'm gonna make a zipper. I'm gonna lay this flat on my die machine and I'm gonna put this in the middle. And then I'm also gonna cut an extra one out of here because you're not gonna be able to see the word pull on here if you don't do that. So just, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my two pieces, and on this one, if you have white embossing powder and you can do embossing powder, that's great. If you don't, you can stamp the craft. We have the white craft ink, and so you can stamp the craft ink, and eventually it will dry, and that will work. So that is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stamp this because right now our embossing powder is out of stock and we're not gonna get it for a while. So the other way that you can dry this and make it a little more bright is you can add some clear embossing powder onto the lettering and you can heat emboss it. So that's an option as well. And this one, you're gonna go ahead and pop out. And so just pop it carefully. I probably should have popped it before I stamped it, but that's okay. Awesome. All right. I'm gonna put this away. And then we have a little pink piece that I put here, and I did put this one up on like a little mini dimensional, so I'll grab a little mini dimensional and put that there. Okay, and then on the back side of this, we're gonna put some glue, and hopefully we're gonna have some glue. Oh, look at that, plenty. And then we're gonna line it up with the piece that we die cut on here. And again, the reason I'm doing this is because I can't see it otherwise on here, so it won't show up. All right, so then we're going to put this in here and we're gonna fold these flaps over, right? And this is gonna get glued down. And you could make these flaps shorter if you didn't want to waste as much, you know, designer series paper. You could definitely do that. All right, that glue. Yes, we use strange things when we're crafting, don't we? We haven't had a two-way glue pen in like, I don't know, 9 years maybe. But it's what's on my desk and it's what's available, and I don't want to stop and go have to do something else. All right, so I want to make sure that I can't see this white piece, so I need to kind of shove that down in there. Okay, great. And then I'm going to kind of hold it because the two-way glue pen definitely requires a little bit more zhuzhing. And then we're just going to glue it onto our Pretty Peacock card base. And then once we've done that, so this whole panel gets glued onto the Pretty Peacock base. So this piece, all of this, all of this. I'm just gonna center it as best we can. Awesome. And then we have a couple more of the little flowers, and we're gonna put those guys over and put them on the front I think on my other one, I put them on the O's. And I could definitely put one on one O here for sure. And then this O is kind of in the way, so I might put it on the W. You can just kind of space them out. Yes, you could put, you could put dimension, other things on the front if you wanted, but I kind of like the simpler look with this one. It's busy enough, honestly. And then I just love that when you open it, you've got the little hearts on the inside. So just think it's a really sweet card. Okay, so the next card is very similar in style, but you have a choice on this last one. So with this one, this die, you don't have to bust the whole card open. You can actually leave it sealed, and we could even glue the whole panel down. And then when they pull this, it just shows a sentiment right here. So in this case, I pull the whole thing apart, and now we can see, right, I have this little pull tab here, and we can see the inside of the card, which is really cute. I didn't do anything to the inside of this one because this is kind of my play one. So the stamp set comes with a sentiment that says, "You are simply amazing." And it's meant to be stamped in that little channel. So on this card, that's what I'm going to do. So we have a bubble bath back, right? We have a piece that we can stamp a heart out of and die cut it, which is great. We're going to do that in Gorgeous Grape. And then we've got another piece, and then we just need a piece of this pink. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. So 7 by 5, and I think 7's not big enough. That's why I was kind of trying to remember, because this is, it needs to be 7.5. And I want my channels to go this way, so I'm going to do 7.5 this way. And then I'm going to do 5 this way. Okay. And then I'm still going to score at score at 1 7/8. And then I'm gonna put this in and just make sure that I'm scoring at the right place for the next one. And 5 5/8, yeah. All right, so it's going to create that channel that we can wrap our paper around, right? And then we can have a little sentiment piece here. So in order to do that, one, I need to trim this down just a hair, just to make sure it fits in really well. So we'll just go a little bit in. And then our opportunity to stamp it will come in a minute. We're going to die cut this piece first. And we're going to have the pretty big heart. So we're going to have to go pretty low in order to, make it fit. Okay, so now that we know where this is going to be, we can fold this over, and then So it's hard to see, but I can see the light coming through here. It's hard for you guys to see. And so with that light coming through, I was able to kind of mark where the bottom of that score line is. So now I can take my stamp and I can stamp my sentiment in the middle of that. And I'm going to stamp it in Gorgeous Grape since we're using Gorgeous Grape on the hearts as well. All right, so I've got You're Simply Amazing. That's stamped there. That's great. I'm going to stamp the pull on to my piece here. I just need to clean. Craft white is not something you want to mix inside your other stamp pad. So let's stamp that. I'll stamp the pull on there. Perfect. And then the only other thing we need to stamp with the Gorgeous Grape is the big heart. And we've got that here. So we'll stamp that. Awesome. And we'll die cut that. With just the plain heart die. All right, so we've got that. And, all right, so we've got that. And if you want to keep the panel so that it opens, don't glue down the front of the panel. But in my case, I'm going to erase the lines on this one. And then I'm going to put glue not only on the back, but also on the front. So I'm going to take my glue, and it could be, you know, wet or dry. I don't think it really matters. But I'm going to make sure that I get all of these pieces glued down other than the zipper pull. So basically everything except the zipper pull panel is going to be glued. And we're just going to make sure that we line it up right. There we go. There we go. Awesome. And then we can come in and we can glue this panel down. So the reason that I had the panel pop up is because I really like the flowers on the inside. But I do like showing how a set was intended to be used. And this set was definitely intended to be used so that that piece does not bust the whole thing open. And you can see that cute little sentiment on the inside. All right, then we're going to add some fun little doodads on the front. I just threw one across the room. All right. Fun. Awesome. Okay, so that is the Hooray for Surprises card class. That was our February card class. So if you have been coming to monthly classes, I just want to say thank you. I know that it's been a tough couple months for me to kind of be inspired and get classes out, and my mom passing away definitely has made things you know, harder. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed these cards. And I think that the Hooray for Surprises is a really fun bundle. And I think that whoever gets the card is going to think it's pretty cool that they get to like tear it open. And I don't know. I think it's a neat set. So if you have any questions, let me know. You can always put them down below. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it. And if that's it, I'm going to say goodnight, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.